So welcome back to Curly and Yarny. Today I will be weaving on my brand new Inkle Loom. So in the past few videos you've seen me stain the loom, assemble it and warp it, and today it's the real fun that begins because today I'll be doing the weaving. I've actually already started, so about half of this first project is already done, and now I have the other half to go and I'm taking you with me on this journey. So let's get started. So here is the loom. That's the Inkle Loom from Ashford. Ashford actually has two Inkle Loom, so that's the biggest one. They also have one loom that they call the Inklet, which is much smaller. So since it is smaller, the length of the band that you can weave on it is of course shorter, but also the width that can be woven is also narrower. And I hesitated a while in between the two of them, so it was a gift, but I mean it was a gift that I specifically asked for. And the reason why I really hesitated is that I find that the Inklet seems very portable, so like really easy to carry around. I was thinking maybe when now that we've moved far away from our home, both our hometowns, me and my partner, well, we do drive a lot around, and I thought it would be nice to be weaving while we drive around. And when I say we, I really do not include myself. I almost never drive, so while I am being driven around, I could maybe be weaving on this Inklet loom, and that would be nice. But then eventually I kept thinking of the pros and cons, and I think that the pros of being able to weave a wider width and longer, also a longer band, was actually a bit more important for me, so I decided on the bigger one. And actually I was surprised when I started assembling it, because I actually figured it would be much bigger than this, so it is more portable than I thought it would be, so that's a nice plus. I still don't think I'll be able to bring it like in the car with me on the passenger seat to be weaving while I am being driven around. But I still think that it can fit easily on the back seat, and wherever we go then I can bring it along with me. I've woven quite a lot right now, and my working space is getting smaller and smaller, so I'm almost to the point where I'm kind of in the way of the string handles I made for this. So I'm going to advance the project basically, and this is really different than rigid heddle loom weaving, just because I'm actually moving the whole project around. It's not like just advancing the warp, I'm actually advancing the project too. So now I have done quite a lot on the loom. You can see that this is like where I started. So this is unwoven, and this is where it starts to be woven. And so all of this is my hand woven project. And then when I will be advancing it, this will actually like be going up this way, and eventually it will come back here. So to advance this warp, what I have to do, I actually have to undo the tension here. So this is a tensioning peg. So I release the tension a little bit, and by releasing it, I just turn the peg this clockwise, and I push the peg a little bit further down. Also, this is quite a big project, so I find that the width is pretty large, and it takes up a lot of space here on this back peg. And when I advanced it, at first I wasn't really paying attention to what was happening behind the loom. I was really just focusing on, okay, how do I push this and how further away I push this. And then my And then my warp here has a tendency to just spread out, and I did lose some threads off of the peg, so some threads actually fell off this peg, and then it was a bit of a panic for a second. So now I try to be more mindful of this and just try to push the warp a little bit further towards the secure end of the loom. So this is what I'll be doing right now too, because it was starting to be scary. I also feel like I need to push the heddles a little bit more back. I don't know if that's necessary, but I find that it is easier after that to weave. So I'll advance it quite a lot. So now what I need to do is I need to put tension back to my warp. So for this, I'm just going to play with the tensioning peg again. So I'm going to unscrew this, and then I push it, instead of pushing it forward like I did, I need to push it towards me. And then I turn the knob again so that it would be set in place. There were a few times where I noticed that when I was pushing this peg towards me, I wasn't paying so much attention, and instead of being very straight with the loom and being like really a T, perfect T, it got kind of an angle. I'm guessing because the warp with tension is pushing on it, and I would notice that my project would also be a little bit screwed on the side. So now I'm trying to be very mindful of this, and like I'm pushing the tensioning peg while holding the knob. It's hard to say, the knob here on the left, but also here on the right. Otherwise it goes this way, and it really needs to be straight this way. So this way. Now I will tighten this up again. It seems to be good, so we can now get back to weaving. So there's actually a second reason why I was considering getting the inklet, so the smallest loom from Ashford. And the reason for this is that I wasn't sure that this one would allow me to weave while sitting on the couch. I thought it would be too big, but it is not. I've tested it. So this is how I got introduced to weaving in the first place. And when I learn any other kind of weaving, I always tend to want to translate to how I know things with rigid heddle looms. And so for this loom here in particular, we're weaving plain weave, so we need two sheds, and I kind of see the two sheds that I can create exactly the same way that I see them in a rigid heddle loom. So basically I see an up shed and a down shed, and those sheds are created with those threads here. So those are like the slot threads because they are free to move around, as opposed to the other threads that are then locked in with the heddles here. Those I would consider them the eye thread. And so to create my sheds, what I have to do, if I want to do the up shed, well, I take those threads and I pull on them, and then they go up and I have a shed. And when I want to do the down shed, I will just push on them down, and then I have this other shed created. I noticed that when I do the up shed, I simply have to go with my fingers, and the shed is usually pretty neat. However, when I go back and I try to do the down shed, I notice that sometimes the threads kind of want to tangle together, and that's not even a thread that usually tends to stick together, so I do need to kind of like pass my finger in one time, and then I can easily pass my shuttle too. Has anyone else experienced this, or is this just me? I would love to know in the comments. And see here, I even have to push my finger in the upshed too, but I think it's just because I'm getting closer to the handle, so I would actually already have to be advancing my warp again. I'll just do this pick and then I'll advance it again. Another way for me to note that I have woven enough and it's time for me to advance the project is when my weft threads get tangled into the knob. Usually when this happens, it means my weaving space is way too close to the handles and the knob, so I need to stop there. So I'll just finish that pick and then we'll advance it. Now I'm ready to keep weaving, and see, the start of the project is here, so really all I have left is choo, and that's all. Almost done. I've just advanced the warp one more time, and the knots that I made while warping are right here. So basically I'm not sure how much weight I needed to take into account for this project, but I'm feeling that if the knots get like here where the threads separate into the two different kind of threads, I'm not sure I'll be able to weave. So this might be one of the last stretch of weaving that I can do for this project, and then all of that will be waste. Let's see. But one thing I do notice is that right off the bat, my tension wasn't that equal all across the warp, but I mean, this was my first project, so of course it was to be expected. And I think that in any weaving project, anybody who say that their first try they had a perfect tension, they're either very lucky or very good liars. So I'm trying not to beat myself too much with this, but still the tension was mostly uneven at the selvage, and now my last thread here is really loose, especially compared to the others. When I warped, the way I read the instruction, I kind of had to tie the first thread with the last one, and here we can see that on top my last thread is actually crossing over because they need like the crossover and then they get tied together at the back where the nuts are. So I'm thinking maybe my nut wasn't strong enough, or the when I tied them, I didn't tie them like tight enough. So maybe that's what's happening. So I'll try to find a way to put more tension there, because otherwise I think my selvage will suffer from this little slide there. So I think I'm just gonna try to put a bit of weight. Let's see if this would be enough weight. It looks better. Let's see how this goes. I think one of my nuts just came undone. Let's see. Let's try to advance it one more time. Let's squeeze the most out of this warp. Okay, so I have just reached the end of the warp. My knots were not strong enough at the beginning, and some of the knots undue while I was weaving this last part, and then I had to like gather it and then reattach some of the threads to the other one, and I didn't do it fully right, so now I have it up shed, that's okay, but I can't have it down shed really. Oh, can I? Oh, I can. Okay, forget it. I'll keep weaving. So yeah, I kept going a little bit, but there's one blue thread that is not being woven into the warp, and then I see some black dots, which means that I see my weft yarn, which is not supposed to to happen. So I think I will call it a day. I think I've done quite a lot for this first ever warp. Now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take this off the loom. So for today, I think once this is left the loom, I'm simply going to make knots, but I do feel like I'm going to have to research a bit more about finishing techniques that are appropriate for bands like that. So a lot of fun ahead of me, but first of all, let's just take this off the loom. All right, so I think I'm just going to remove the tension like this, and I should be able to remove this. I didn't think of those handles. Okay, well, let me cut a piece of that. I have my first band. It is so cool. I can't believe I made that. It's amazing. Wow, okay. So on this note, I'm going to finish today's video. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It always feels nice to know that people are joining me on my weaving journey, so this way I know that I am not weaving alone. So I hope to see you guys very soon in the next one. Bye bye.